Hello, my name is Dan Brown and I'm the Senior Service Consultant here at MGE. Today's video, we're following up on my earlier video about a systems-based business instead of a personnel or personality-based business. To recap, what we're trying to establish is routine and stable practices that are in place for every position in your office, rather than relying on the people that are there currently or that might be there in the future. The ideal scene is you don't want to have to wait to find out if somebody's going to make it on a post. You want to know, I can put this person down in that chair, and within hours, and at the latest within days, that person is up and operational, doing the job as if they were the best person that's ever occupied that position. If the person that you newly hire doesn't work out, you move on to the next person. And again, that person has hours and maybe days to get up to speed. I told you in the last video that we'd give you an example of how could you actually put this together, and we're going to use today the position of the front desk. So now let's take the front desk. How many different types of phone calls come into the front desk? I think you should find out. You should assess. You should list these out, and you should have documented practices and procedures for how to handle each and every phone call. I would say if you have a talented front desk person right now, capture what they're doing exactly, and I mean exactly, down to word for word, what do they say to a patient when that patient's calling in to convert them from being a prospective patient to a new patient that arrives, schedules, and pays for treatment. So you might ask, well, how do I capture this person? How do I capture that successful personality? What do I do if I don't have the right person or a successful person on that position? Where do I start? Well, it's as easy as this. First, let's lay out what that person's job description is. What is the purpose of that position? What are the basic functions of that position? What are the types of traffic that that position handles? Once you've established these things, now let's talk about the most important thing that that person has to deal with. Well, what is it in this case? Pretty obvious. It's your prospective new patient. I don't know how much we spend on marketing to get that phone to ring and get that person who calls in converted into a new patient. But I can tell you this, it's hundreds of dollars. Okay, so how do we actually build a systems-based approach to your front desk? Well, I'm going to tell you this. The first thing you should do is log in to ddssuccess.com. We have actually documented so many different points of how to put these systems in place that, well, your work's pretty much done. In fact, it's not just done for you. It's done in such a fashion that your staff can sit down, go through these modules, these various small videos that are so powerful and take up each of the points you need to know on how to drill this area in and put these systems in place. The areas covered at ddssuccess.com include how to build your hygiene area, how to handle phone calls, phone etiquette, how to handle customers, and even how to handle scheduling. That's just part of what's available at ddssuccess.com. So rather than racking your brain and trying to figure it out yourself, know that we've done that, we've laid it out for you, and we've made it easy so your staff can sit down, learn, and understand these basic principles. But now back to the front desk scenario. When that phone rings, what do you want to capture? Well, you could say, well, I'd like to have a new patient. And it'd be good to know that person's name if we can get it. And, oh yeah, by the way, it wouldn't be a bad idea to know how they found out about our office. If that isn't happening every single time, and your reception front desk people can't get that data easily, then you don't have systems in place. For an example, if it comes to me, and I was sitting on your front desk, it would be as easy as this. Thank you for calling. Dan Brown Dental, how can I help you today? Fantastic. I'd love to answer your question on how much a crown costs in our office. First, I'm going to ask you a few questions, and then I'll answer yours. How's that sound? Great. What's your first name? Fantastic, Bill. And your last? Great. Thanks, Bill. And then just curious, can I ask how you found out about our office? Great. And what did you search on Google? Dentist near me. Thanks. That helps us a lot. All right, now let's get on to your question. How much is a crown in our office? Well, I'm going to ask you a few questions. What tooth are we talking about? Okay, back. And would you say it's in the bottom or top? Okay, right side or left side? Okay, and are you currently in pain? Okay, well, if you're not in pain, how do you know you need a crown? I see, your dentist told you you needed one. Good, can I ask you why you're calling us if you already have a dentist? Oh, okay. Got a little scary when you heard the price. I understand that completely. Now, at this point, I'm going to ask this person about 18 to 20 different questions, if I can, about themselves, the condition. Do they feel pain, sensitive to hot and cold? Is it a throbbing or a stabbing pain? Does it keep them up at night? I've got a number of questions that's going to make sure I connect with that patient and I know exactly what they're running into. Now, that's me. That's if you had Dan Brown sitting at your front desk. But is it necessary to have somebody with experience and talent to ask such questions? The answer to that question is plain and simple. It's not. You simply need to have somebody who knows to ask these questions, that has asked these questions in a drill, one-on-one scenario, role play, however you want to talk about it. They've done this a number of times and they feel comfortable about it. They've had a senior standing over them when that phone call comes in and saw, did they follow that script or those guidelines? And that person has been corrected on those practices and procedures to the point that now they do so smoothly, or we find they're not a good fit for that position. What are we talking about here? We're talking about a systems-based position rather than a personality-based position. The value you will get to have a systems-based practice with each position, with exactly codified practices and procedures, is not just it's being handled as you would handle it if you were in each of these positions. No, it's much more than that. What you're actually getting is you're taking the best person, you, duplicating how you would handle it for that position throughout every position in the practice, and you will one day find you will do that for your doctor hat as well. Once that's done, you will find that you can step out of that practice and you won't need to be there. You won't need Jenny, who's amazing, Bill, who's fantastic, Eduardo, who's just awesome. Yes, these people are fantastic, but don't have a personality-based practice, have a systems-based practice. Now, I'm not removing the element of personality and individual creativity and what somebody can bring to add to a position. I'm not taking that away at all. And I'm not saying that the people you have there need to be robots. So let's not talk in extremes. But let's look at the fact that if you don't have these systems established and these practices in play, and you haven't been creating these, you need to create these if you ever want to one day have a practice that you can duplicate, step out of, or just have run soundly and securely. I hope this has been helpful. We'll do more like this. Let us know if it's helpful and if you'd like more. Hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. Thank you very much.